the Mueller investigation. This has been, once again, has become the issue in the mainstream media. It's like, if you remember, for the first year or so of the Trump administration, it was, everything was Trump-Russia collusion, the Mueller investigation. That kind of went away. Now it's coming back and being talked about a lot because it looks like, even though we don't know for sure, it looks like we're approaching the end of the investigation where some type of report will be released and Mueller will tell us what he's found after spending millions and millions of dollars of taxpayer resources and taking up the first 2 years of Donald Trump's administration. I think the pressure is growing for him to deliver something, and if you pay attention to the mainstream media at all, the narrative that you would get is that the walls are closing in on Trump and they've really got him now. That I don't think is, I think it's worth taking a little bit of a deeper look at these things. So I said at the very beginning, when the special investigation first started, that I thought this was really bad news for Trump. And I remember being a kid during the Bill Clinton special investigation when they were investigating Whitewater and all these financial scandals with that plot of land that the Clintons were involved with. And they ended up not really getting anything on that, but they got him for lying about the affair with Monica Lewinsky. He ultimately got impeached. And I always felt like that was probably the odds of how this was going to go with Trump. I was like, they're not going to get him for any Russia collusion or anything that they claim they're investigating, but they're going to find something because they're going to be grilling all of his people, looking through all of these records. And Trump's been a real estate developer. He's clearly not a guy of the highest moral integrity. Probably there's some shady shit, and they'll probably get him for something. So that's what I thought at first. And then as the investigation went on, I was just kind of surprised by how long it's gone on and how there hasn't really been any bombshell like that. So that's more or less my take. I guess I still wouldn't be shocked if they came out and found something, like some criminal activity or some shady thing that Trump's did. At the very least, something, if not criminal, that could be incredibly politically damaging, you know? But I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure anymore. And what's really interesting is that they, if you just listen to the mainstream media, it's like I said, the walls are closing in. Trump is in big, big trouble. I mean, look at this. They got charges against his campaign manager, Paul Manafort. They've just brought charges against his personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, and he's flipping and he's making a deal with them and all this stuff. And it's easy to just look at it on the surface and go, oh yeah, look at this. They got a bunch of stuff on the people around Trump. But if you actually dig a little bit deeper, you start to realize what a fucking scam this whole thing is. And they've really found nothing. They've found fucking nothing. So here's what happens, okay? They got Michael Cohen for lying to Congress. This is what they've gotten him in trouble for. Now, I gotta say, it is really appalling when you think about all the lies that have been told. I'd say just since I've been doing this podcast, but just in my adult life, all of the profound lies that we get out of the political establishment, that this lie, because I think he was off by 5 months when he said when they were planning on building a Trump tower in Russia. So he told them it was like January, but it was really June or something like that.
By the way, even the offense, not that crazy.
What? Building a tower?
Well, what they were claiming is that they were gonna bribe Russia for the tower by giving Putin a unit for $500 million. Now, here's why that's not crazy. You're building in Russia. I'm sure to build in Russia or most of these third world countries, bribing is part of what you have to do.
Russia's more of a second world country, but sure.
I'm just wherever you're building outside of America and maybe in America a little bit, you probably got to bribe somebody.
Oh yeah,
that's first and foremost. And then as a business decision, they were saying it would have made them $250 million because just the knowledge that Putin's got a unit here makes it a place that everyone else wants to buy into.
Absolutely. It is. Let's just be clear about this. because I don't want to mince words, and this is not even in a gray area. It is 100% legal. There is nothing illegal about building a tower, Trump's business doing business in Russia. Absolutely nothing illegal about that. But in addition to that, these plans were aborted. These plans were canceled. They never actually built a tower in Russia. There were plans to do it, and they didn't. Just to be clear here, none of that is illegal activity. It's not only was it not illegal before Trump was running for president, it wasn't illegal when Trump was running for president, and it wouldn't be illegal as president for Trump's business to do this. None of it is illegal. And what Trump says, I mean, take his word with a grain of salt, but what he says is he felt like it was going to be a conflict, so that's why they didn't end up doing it. Now, what Michael Cohen is in trouble for is lying. That's what he's in trouble for. It's lying. It's none of this other stuff, okay? Now, I'm just saying, forgetting the lies, like, when you just have some perspective of the lies that have been told by politicians over the last few years, like the last two presidents before Donald Trump, they're two central issues. They're two central accomplishments, like the thing that they did. If you look at, this isn't even close. Like if you look at what was the Obama policy, that was the big Obama policy. It's Obamacare. That was this is what I'm hanging my legacy on. This is my thing, Obamacare. And he lied through his teeth to sell that to people. Because if Obama had come out and said, hey, a bunch of you guys really like your plans right now. You're going to get kicked off your plans. A lot of you guys have personal relationships with your doctor. You might not be able to see that doctor anymore. This is going to cost trillions of dollars. It's going to be a tax as determined by the Supreme Court later. And by the way, for all that, your premiums are going to keep going up. If he had said that, what do you think the chances that Obamacare passes are? Zero, literally zero. So what did Obama say? He said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health insurance plan, you can keep your health insurance plan. Now, that was a blatant lie. Unless you want to think that Obama is just an incredibly dumb human being and was unable to realize that it was clear in the bill that lots of plans were going to be deemed substandard, then, I'm sorry, maybe I'd give George W. Bush that pass, but not Obama. Obama's smart enough to read a fucking bill. He knew what was happening. This was his fucking healthcare bill. So the Affordable Care Act was sold on lies. And Bush, of course, you would have the war in Iraq, which was completely sold on lies. Even the current president acknowledges that. So it's just worth noting. And I think just like a great example of how statism works, that those lies go completely unpunished. There's like no repercussions for lies that you like literally overhaul a sixth of the U.S. economy, or lies that destroy a nation, have led to fucking 15 million people being displaced, a million or so dead, and just an entire nation destroyed to this day where troops are still there. Those lies, it's like, hey, that's politics, baby. But Michael Cohen was off by a few months over whether they were planning a completely legal business venture, and that guy is now going to fucking face the heavy hand of the law. But you might be saying, hey, okay, Dave, but those were just lies that politicians said. That's not technically a crime, which you're right. Brings up another interesting issue, but yeah, you're right. There's nothing technically illegal about a president lying to the American people in order to get votes or in order to get a law passed. What Michael Cohen did was he lied to Congress, right? Except think about the lies that have been told to Congress under oath over the last few years. So James Clapper testified before Congress that that the NSA was not collecting Americans' data. He said that they literally testified that they were not building a spying apparatus that was collecting metadata. Straight up said no. They asked if he was doing it. No. Why isn't that guy being prosecuted? I mean, I don't know. Like, one guy lied about a completely legal business deal. I mean, lied. He was off by 5 or 6 months. By the way, you never get to just say, oh, I misremembered. That's out the window. If you talk to the FBI or you testify before Congress, which, by the way, imagine people going back through your fucking Like things in your life, what your job was 3 years ago or something like that. And you're like, oh yeah, I was doing this in January. And they're like, no, it was June. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry, that was an honest mistake. They'd be like, nope, you're going to jail. That's it. You're going to jail. Now, he told a lie, off by a few months, if you want to call it a lie, about a business deal, which easily could have just been misremembering the truth. And it was a completely legal deal that never ended up coming to fruition. James Clapper told what could only be a lie. He wasn't like missing the fucking bulk data collection at the NSA. It's like he never went to that room before. He absolutely knew they were doing this. He told a bold-faced lie about building the largest spying apparatus that illegally spies on American citizens, the largest spying apparatus in the history of the world. Okay? No one even talks about prosecuting that guy because they're just like, oh, no, we don't care. We don't care about that. Now, James Comey, the head of the FBI, he testified before Congress that he's never leaked any information or authorized anyone to leak any information to a mainstream media outlet or to a media outlet. That's now been conclusively proven to be a lie. Where's the calls to prosecute that guy? Oh, no, there's none. See, the deep state is completely protected. This is the fucking terrifying thing about the state. They make a rule that pretty much anyone could violate. So if you're not allowed to lie to the FBI, or you're not allowed to lie to Congress, and they call you in, you have to testify or talk to them for hours. They ask you every little detail, and if you get anything wrong, now you're a felon. That's it. And then you're going to be looking at some crazy sentence, and now it's time to make a deal. Unless you want to ruin your life, now it's time to make a fucking deal. So that's the way this works. However, they completely get to be selective about when they enforce the law and when they just completely ignore it. So if you're a deep state operative, you're completely insulated, completely protective. If you were a Trump ally, now you're going to fucking face the full brunt of the fucking state coming down on you.